Imagine a future where every single car gliding down the United Kingdom's roads is silent, emits nothing but clean air, and is powered only by electricity. No more rumbling engines at red lights, no more fumes curling through city streets, just the gentle whisper of tires and the quiet hum of progress. Now, picture that future arriving not in some distant science fiction era, but within your own lifetime. In fact, it is approaching the United Kingdom faster than many people realize. Yet perhaps not quite fast enough. The latest figures reveal that in the month of June, battery electric vehicles accounted for 1/4 of all new cars sold across the country. That figure, 1 in every 4, is undeniably impressive. A bold milestone that has allowed headlines to trumpet the unstoppable march of the electric revolution. But as is so often the case, the real story is more complex, more nuanced, and far more urgent than the headlines suggest. Beneath the surface, a fierce struggle is unfolding, one that could determine not just who wins or loses in the automotive sector, but the very fate of the United Kingdom's entire industrial future. For over a decade, the United Kingdom government has been steering the nation toward a bold and ambitious vision, a transport system that is entirely zero-emission. The backbone of this transformation is the Zero-Emission Vehicle, or ZEV, mandate. Launched in the year 2024, this sweeping policy requires car manufacturers to achieve ever more ambitious targets for electric vehicle sales every single year. The ultimate goal? By the year 2035, every new car and van sold must be completely emission-free. No petrol, no diesel, not even hybrid loopholes. In 2024, the mandate set the initial target at just over 1/5 of all new cars. By the end of 2025, that bar rises even higher, to more than 1/4, specifically 28%. And every year after, the expectations climb steadily upward, creating a relentless march toward total electrification. But these targets are not mere guidelines. They have real teeth. If manufacturers fall short, they face severe financial penalties that can run into the tens or even hundreds of millions. The stakes are enormous. Billions of pounds of investment hang in the balance, as do tens of thousands of jobs in car factories, supply chains, and research labs up and down the country. The United Kingdom's hard-won reputation as a global leader in automotive innovation, built over more than a century, is on the line. The question is simple: can the nation deliver on these promises, or does the dream risk slipping out of reach? To support this epic journey, the government has been pouring resources into building the vital infrastructure that an electric future demands. The ambition is breathtaking. By the end of this decade, the United Kingdom aims to have 300,000 public charging stations installed nationwide. Picture that: charging points dotting city centers, lining suburban streets, and even popping up in remote rural villages. This would represent one of the largest charging networks in Europe, if not the world. Initiatives like the Plug-in Car Grant, which provided financial support for early adopters, and generous reductions in company car taxes, have turbocharged fleet sales and encouraged businesses to electrify their vehicles at an unprecedented pace. Major international automakers, from European giants to ambitious newcomers like China's BYD, are rapidly expanding their presence in the United Kingdom, betting on the country as a crucial battleground for the future of mobility. The Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, or SMMT, puts it bluntly: government incentives can supercharge the market transition. Without them, climate ambitions are under threat. But there's a catch, one that could throw the entire transition off course. While companies and organizations are eagerly adopting electric vehicles for their fleets, the private consumer market tells a different and much more troubling story. In the year 2024, only about 1 in every 10 private buyers chose to invest in a brand new electric car. That means, out of every 10 people walking into a dealership to purchase a car for personal use, just a single person drives away in an electric model. This is a flashing red light for an industry that is counting on mass market adoption to make electrification a reality. Adam Kemp of Drive Electric warns, there are currently no incentives for private motorists to purchase new EVs, holding back retail sales. Why is this happening? Despite the steady drumbeat of progress, projections suggest the United Kingdom is on course to miss its 2025 ZEV mandate target. Experts predict that only around 24% of new cars sold will be fully electric by that critical deadline, falling short of the mandated 28%. The reasons are varied and deeply rooted. The upfront cost of electric vehicles remains higher than that of conventional petrol or diesel cars. For many families, especially outside affluent city neighborhoods. The price difference is simply too daunting to justify. Concerns about range, how far an electric car can travel on a single charge, continue to haunt would-be buyers, particularly in rural areas where public charging infrastructure is patchy at best. Even as the number of ultra-rapid chargers, those capable of adding hundreds of miles of range in mere minutes, has increased by nearly 1/4 in just the first half of this year, the distribution remains uneven, with some regions boasting dozens of chargers and others left with only a handful. This imbalance is not just a technical issue. It is a matter of social justice and regional equality. In cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham, residents can rely on a dense network of charging points. But for people living in Cornwall, Cumbria, or the Scottish Highlands, the prospect of owning an electric vehicle can feel like a distant dream. The risk is clear. If the charging network does not expand quickly and equitably, entire regions could be left behind in the transition to zero-emission transport. Compounding these challenges, the end of the plug-in car grant in 2022 has left private buyers with little direct financial support, while the generous company car tax incentives that have driven fleet sales are set to rise gradually between 2025 and 2028. This looming increase threatens to slow the momentum among business buyers just as the government needs it most. The emergence of a growing used electric vehicle market could offer a lifeline, making clean vehicles more affordable for everyday families. But this secondary market can only flourish if consumers trust the technology and feel confident that their investment will not lose value overnight. Dylan Setterfield, chief executive of CAP HPI, cautions.
A robust used EV strategy is critical as increasing numbers of fleet EVs return to the market.
So, as the government rushes to finalize its plans for ending the sale of new petrol and diesel cars, pressure is mounting from all sides. Policymakers must balance the demands of climate activists, who insist that only bold action can avert environmental disaster, with the very real concerns of workers and communities whose livelihoods depend on the automotive sector. Manufacturers are caught between the rock of regulatory targets and the hard place of consumer hesitancy. Will the United Kingdom be forced to water down its ambitions, risking its global leadership in the process? Could a wave of job losses and factory closures upend decades of industrial progress? Or is there a hidden solution, an innovative policy, a leap forward in technology, or a surge in public enthusiasm that could unleash a new era of adoption and innovation? The answers to these questions lie at the crossroads of technology, policy, and, most importantly, public trust. The decisions made in the coming months, by government ministers in Whitehall, by engineers in research labs, and by ordinary families deciding what car to buy, will shape the United Kingdom's automotive future not just for a few years, but for generations to come. Let's take a closer look at the road ahead. What does the future truly hold for the United Kingdom's electric vehicle revolution? The answer, as you might expect, is not as simple as plugging in and driving off into a cleaner, greener sunset. Instead, several possible scenarios are emerging, some full of promise, others laced with genuine risk. In one optimistic scenario, industry and government rise to the challenge together. Imagine a wave of new incentives for private buyers, perhaps a reinvigorated grant scheme, targeted tax breaks, or even the offer of free home charging equipment for those making the switch. Such policies could turbocharge private demand, help close the gap to the ZEV mandate targets, and push the United Kingdom back onto a trajectory of leadership. Mike Hawes, chief executive of the SMMT, has said it plainly.
Government incentives can supercharge the market transition. Without them, climate ambitions are under threat.
But if policymakers hesitate and rely solely on technological innovation to carry the weight, the risks multiply. Manufacturers could be hit with heavy fines for missing their targets, potentially forcing some to scale back or even exit the United Kingdom market altogether. That would mean not just lost investment, but the loss of thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, of high-quality jobs. The SMMT has already warned that the wrong mix of policies could deliver a potentially irreversible blow to the nation's automotive sector.
And the threat is not evenly shared.
Without rapid investment in rural and less affluent regions, the gap between the electric haves and have-nots could widen, exacerbating existing inequalities and leaving entire communities behind. Yet, there are real rays of hope shining through. Industry leaders are not sitting on their hands. BYD, for example, is dramatically expanding its United Kingdom dealer network, aiming to grow from just over 60 dealerships to 120 by the end of next year. Nissan, another major player, is ramping up production of its popular Leaf, and investing heavily in next-generation battery technologies. Battery breakthroughs are not just idle promises. Companies like Leica are pioneering solid-state battery technology right here in the United Kingdom. These batteries could, within a few years, cut charging times in half and deliver up to double the range of current lithium-ion batteries. Imagine driving from London to Edinburgh on a single charge. Suddenly, range anxiety becomes a thing of the past. Charging infrastructure is also making remarkable progress. Investment in ultra-rapid public chargers, those capable of delivering lightning-fast top-ups, has surged by nearly 1/4 this year alone. A record number of over 8,600 ultra-rapid charging devices are now in place across the country. The government's target of 300,000 public charging stations by the year 2030 is ambitious but achievable, provided investment continues and local councils work hand-in-hand with private companies and energy providers. Innovations like smart charging, grid upgrades, and integrated solar can further accelerate the transition, making it easier and cheaper for everyone to charge their cars at home or on the go. Another intriguing development is the rapid growth of the used electric vehicle market. As more company fleet vehicles reach the end of their leases and enter the second-hand market, a new generation of affordable clean cars is becoming available for families and individuals who might otherwise be priced out. In May of this year, used battery electric vehicles accounted for just over 6% of all retail used car sales, a figure that is expected to climb rapidly as more ex-fleet vehicles become available. Dylan Setterfield of CAP HPI emphasizes, a robust used EV strategy is critical as increasing numbers of fleet EVs return to the market. This secondary market is crucial. It not only offers a more affordable route for many households, but also helps build confidence in the longevity and reliability of electric vehicles. What does all of this mean for you, the viewer? If you are considering your next car, these changes will directly affect the choices and prices you see at your local dealership. New government incentives, smarter financing models, or innovative leasing schemes could make electric vehicles far more accessible, especially for private buyers who have so far been left behind. If you own a business, keeping a close eye on benefit-in-kind tax changes could make a big difference to your bottom line. And as the used market matures, bargains will become more common, offering more people the chance to join the electric movement without breaking the bank. But there is another, often overlooked, aspect to this story: the intersection of electric vehicles with the broader energy systems. As more people plug in their cars at home, the demand on the national electricity grid will rise. This creates both challenges and opportunities. On one hand, it requires major investment in grid capacity and smart technologies to avoid blackouts or bottlenecks. On the other, it opens up possibilities for new business models, like vehicle-to-grid charging, where cars can feed electricity back into the grid during peak times, helping to balance supply and demand, and even earning money for owners. It is also worth noting that the electric vehicle revolution is creating ripple effects across the wider economy. New factories are springing up to build batteries, motors, and advanced electronics. Jobs are being created in engineering, software development, and renewable energy. The skills required for this new era are different from those of the past, prompting a wave of investment in training and education. Universities and technical colleges are partnering with industry to ensure the workforce of tomorrow is ready for the challenges and opportunities of electrification. If you are passionate about clean transport, worried about the climate crisis, or simply interested in the future of technology, now is a powerful time to make your voice heard. Grassroots campaigns have already shifted the debate around charging costs and infrastructure. Quentin Wilson of the Fair Charge campaign puts it succinctly: VAT must be harmonized between domestic and public charging as soon as possible for mainstream adoption. This is not just a technical detail. The current system, where charging your car at home is taxed at a lower rate than using a public charger, creates an unfair disadvantage for people without off-street parking. Fixing this could unlock a new wave of mainstream adoption, particularly in urban areas where driveways are rare. So will the United Kingdom close the gap to its ambitious targets? Or is the electric vehicle revolution at risk of stalling just as it gains momentum? The truth is, it will take a careful blend of government action, industry innovation, and widespread consumer engagement to reach those goals. The policies crafted today will determine what sits in our driveways tomorrow, and whether the United Kingdom can truly claim leadership in the global race towards sustainable mobility. Here is a secret that policymakers do not often discuss. The electric vehicle transition is about much more than just cars or charging stations. It is a battle for industrial leadership in Europe and beyond. Countries that solve this puzzle first, developing the technology, building the factories, training the workers, and securing the raw materials will not just enjoy cleaner air. They will create hundreds of thousands of new jobs, attract billions in investment, and lay the foundations for economic prosperity for decades to come. There are cautionary tales from history. Remember the decline of the United Kingdom's coal industry in the late 20th century? Or the painful restructuring of steel and shipbuilding? Those transitions were marked by lost opportunities, shuttered communities, and waves of unemployment. The electric vehicle revolution offers a chance to write a different story, one of growth, innovation, and shared prosperity. But that outcome is not guaranteed. It will require vision, courage, and above all, a willingness to listen to the voices of citizens, workers, and entrepreneurs alike. Let's return to the present. The next time you see an electric car glide quietly past, remember, the story of the electric vehicle revolution is being written right now. Every choice, by the government minister drafting new rules, by the engineer designing the next generation of batteries, by the first-time buyer weighing up the costs and benefits of going electric matters, the future is not predetermined. It is being shaped, day by day, by all of us. As we wrap up, here are some practical tips if you are thinking about joining the electric movement. First, do your homework. Compare not just the sticker price, but the total cost of ownership, including fuel, maintenance, and tax savings. Look out for new incentives or schemes from both the government and car manufacturers. If you are concerned about charging, check the latest maps of public charging stations and consider whether a home charger or neighborhood charging hub might be an option. And if you are in the market for a used car, pay close attention to battery health and warranty coverage. These can make a big difference to long-term value. If you found this breakdown useful, do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives into global economics and technology, and let us know in the comments.
Would you go electric if the right incentives landed tomorrow?
What would convince you to make the switch? We will see you in the next video, where we